Hello everybody to the after school project. Today we'll be looking at a 2011 Audi A3 hatchback TDI turbo diesel injection. Looking at the exterior of this car, we have that wonderful little Volkswagen white with that faux carbon fiber roof, and we have that S-line accent. That's actually again how I met one of my buddies. I was like, oh, I thought it said like RS. I was like, oh, this is an RS3. That's awesome. And I talked to him, I was like, oh, what engine does it have? Expecting it to be like the 5-cylinder turbo. And he was like, oh yeah, it's a 2-liter diesel. I was like, you know what, that's okay. Again, looking at the exterior of this car, we're gonna go ahead and move back to the trunk here. Lifting up this trunk, the hatch, the rear hatch, we have 19.5 cubic feet of room, plenty of room to put all of your stuff in there, and even more room if you put down that hatch. You do actually get a spare tire in this car, unlike some other cars, like my car, my previous car, my Acura TSX wagon. You just got the puncture kit. Taking a step back from this car, it looks like a Golf, it feels like a Golf, it has the same engine as a Golf, and it's pretty much a Golf. It's the Audi version, the A3 and the Golf. Volkswagen Golf are under the same platform, and even with this hatchback it's even more similar. Moving up to the front of this car, we're gonna go ahead and look at that 2-liter turbo diesel. If I can open the trunk here with that nice hydraulic lift, again, nothing to be really proud of, but it is an engine and it does pull. It actually surprisingly makes about 224 horsepower apparently, which I don't believe, but you know what, it does have some kick when you get into it. Moving around here, let's take a look at that interior real quick before we get off. This back side, this is my driving position. As you can see, there's minimal leg room. I try and get in it. I get cramped. I can't, my feet, my knees are in the little knee wells. I can't sit back, and even if I do try and get back all the way, my head hits the back. So as a result, you're gonna have to be sitting kind of crooked. Getting out of the car here, let's start this puppy up. We get in, it's a keyed entry, not keyless button little thing like you may expect from an Audi, a luxury manufacturer in the early 2010s. Key and ignition, there's that we're all used to from the Volkswagen line, or well, a diesel actually. Some other notable features on the inside. You have a handbrake. You have your center console, which is this big. It's like the size, I feel like, of a big, really big ice cream bar. 4 ice cream bars actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you want to get rid of your armrest / center console, you lift it up to some more center console, but it's taken up by all these little plugs for your cigarette lighter, your 12-volt, and your aux cord. Nonetheless, you do have your climate control there, and something that Audi is famous for is the clickiness of the buttons. And I can contest that all of these buttons are very clicky, very clicky indeed. Nonetheless, let's get a move on here. Put it in drive. It is an automatic with the S-tronic 6-speed automatic transmission. It does bring it oddly close to stall. As we get moving, the steering wheel, I'll talk about some low-speed characteristics. The steering wheel is very light, and it kind of makes it easy to move things around. It's not like one of those big heavy diesel trucks that the moment that you touch it, it's like you're like trying to shift the steering wheel on. It's very light, and that does even continue into more higher speed driving. As you can see, we're just moving along here at 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. I can wiggle the steering wheel left and right a little bit, and it doesn't do anything, but it does once I start turning it. It does have a pretty sharp turn in. Talking about throttle, again, this apparently has 220 horsepower coming in out of the 2-liter turbo diesel, which you floor it, it takes 5 seconds, and then you get it. If you have it in the auto mode, it does pick up a little bit quicker. This engine, funny enough, does redline at, ready for it, 4.5, screaming 4.5 diesel. But again, what can you expect? It's a diesel engine. Talking a little bit about the handling here, we turn it in, it's numb. It's very numb. You turn it's pretty funny. You turn it in, it's just as like Yes, we turn it, again, this being a German car, yes, we turn it on the corner now, and it's okay. And here we go, turning into the corner. And we turn into the corner, and now we leave the corner. And that's it. There's no fuss, there's no emotion, you don't feel the road. It's very numb. And talking about the brakes, it's a pretty big complaint I feel for me, is that the brakes they're pretty bad. I've had it before where the engine, since it's a diesel, it has super high compression. The super high compression will actually slow you down more than the brakes. So, you know, I'll be decelerating, and it's whoa, and then it gets to the point where the compression of the engine doesn't really have any effect, or the automatic kind of lets go, and I have to, like, oh crap, I have to put back on the brakes, just because I'm like, oh, it's not it really doesn't have any pizzazz to it. We'll go ahead and get slow for this lady. Anything else? The interior of this car is very nice. These seats, again, I'm about a 220-pound adult dude, 6'3", not trying to flex or anything, but above 6 foot over here. And I'm a little bit of a larger guy. But I will say these seats are very comfortable. They do kind of grip me on the sides a little bit, to a concerning amount, not a concerning amount, but just they're like little snug. Funny enough, I've driven my buddy's GTI, which I have a video on, and these seats feel fairly similar. They just feel like leather wrapped. You know, they probably use the same foam mold and just leather wrapped over them, instead of having it to be those cloth plaid seats that everyone loves. Again, talking about the handling here, it is a small, light car, or light enough. It only weighs about 3,300 pounds, which isn't a featherweight, but you know, there's the cars of the day's era. You know, small cars like this could get up to 4,000 pounds easily. So it does like to carry its weight to a decent way. The infotainment, you really don't have any infotainment. You have music, and speaking of music, you do have the radio. I'm sorry, not radio. You have a Bose sound system, which is very nice. It does sound very good. I noticed with all Bose systems, my car has a Bose system, is that, I'm sorry, here, take a left, look a right, no traffic, let's go. Here, let's do a little quick acceleration test for you guys. So floored, and there's nothing to talk about there. The deceleration is impressive. It's also, this car does have a little bit of that fun turbo-ness, where it's, when you're from a dig, it goes, which is kind of fun. It's funny. Especially because you're really not going all that fast. You're just like, whoa. But again, talking about that infotainment, you do have a Bose sound system, which I found sounds very, very good until you get up into the higher volumes. At that point, it's just kind of meh. It's just kind of it's tingy. It's not very good. But you know, unless you're trying to blast your eardrums out, you're really not going to be playing it higher than you need to be. Another thing to mention that I don't personally like, and I've noticed with a couple of German cars, is that they like to have the cruise control under the steering wheel instead of on the wheel and the controls, which I know is common in older cars, but in a modern car such as this, it should really have it on the steering wheel. Not to mention, but other than that, the cruise control works very well and is nice and easy to use. I have accidentally grabbed the flashers instead of the cruise control to set it, but you know what, we all make mistakes. Talking about the steering wheel here, we do have a nice leather steering wheel. The funniest part about the steering wheel is, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's little divots in the steering wheel. It's just kind of funny, I guess. You know, if you really need to grip onto it, then then you can go ahead and do that. You do have a nice, very, very classic Audi logo. They really didn't change that. It's very standard. And on the steering wheel, you do only have a couple controls. You have your input selection for your music type, and then you can scroll between channels. And then on the right side, you have volume control and your voice system. You do have paddle shifters, which do operate. As you can see, I can go ahead and downshift, and you can hear that turbo diesel get a moving, and then you just click it right back into your gear for what you would like. Naturally, it wouldn't be a fun twisty road if there wasn't a utility truck to cut you off. Not even cut you off, he didn't cut me off, but while coming up to the filming location, I did take it on the highway there, and it's very comfortable. It cruises nicely, it's very efficient, and it is surprisingly quiet. You know, my personal cars are Hondas, and I love Honda, but I've noticed that their sound deadening is a little lackluster. Well, I don't know if they're not designed to be going such high speeds, and or not such high speeds, and as a result, they just, wind creates a lot of noise, or what. But Germans, this is designed to be on the Autobahn, and at high speeds, it's very stable, very very nice, and very comfortable. Let's take a right here. Ooh. That's what I was talking. I don't know if you guys can feel it or see it or whatnot, but again, every time we come to a stop, it's like the engine brakes. You have engine braking. You have actually a significant amount of engine braking, and then at like 1,000 or 1,500 RPM, it drops off, and you go ooh, and you have to put on the brake. Nonetheless, let's look around here. We've confirmed no traffic. Let's get a moving. And that's the Audi A3. Really nothing to write home about. On the philosophical discussion is, this is a fairly European style car. It's the small hatchback turbo diesel, which there's the what was it, Volkswagen Gate? I can't remember. Or Dieselgate. Dieselgate is what Jason Camisa and the Carmudgeon show. If you're on my channel, you like cars, and you haven't heard of Jason Camisa, well, I applaud you for getting into cars, but you should really go check him out. He refers to it as the Dieselgate. And essentially, Volkswagen Group lied to European manufacturers about the performance of diesels. But a lot of European cars ended up becoming diesels as a result, because typically diesel was cheaper, if not the same cost of gasoline, and it produced more torque. But did the Europeans have the right idea with these, at least small hatchbacks? I really do think so. I mean, this car feels big. That's the thing that I was on the way up here. I was like, wow, this feels like this feels like it should be about the size of a minivan, like a Toyota Sienna, at least the front. You look behind you and you're like, okay, yeah, it's a small hatchback, but the cockpit is fairly large, and it's spacious and it's very comfortable. If you do have a family, maybe might not be the best idea for you, just because the rear seats just aren't that big. But aside from that, you have plenty of space in the trunk. You have plenty of space up front, and if you need it, you can put a couple people in the back. You have plenty of power to do really anything you want. You have no, again, it's not fast, but it's not slow. I mean, it's kind of slow, but it's not annoyingly slow. I've never, while driving, I've never found that I was like wanting to have more power, outside of just, oh yeah, it would be fun to have thousands of horsepower in a little hatchback. But well, again, as we're driving away here in the Alabama forest, I appreciate everyone for watching. Staying to the end of the video, it really does help. If you like this video, please do like, and you think you might like more of my content, please subscribe to my channel. If there's anything that you'd like to comment on, please leave that comment down and below, and I will see everyone later for another exciting drive.